Well, hello, folks, and welcome to my channel again. Today's topic is just like the title says. The title of the video says it's going to be on a great reset. Very well known, very interesting term. Great reset for the entire globe, entire global population. So the great reset has a lot of obviously interpretations and explanations and descriptions. A lot has been talked about it, so I just want to kind of make my tiny little contribution as much as I understand. But I wanted to share my understanding and my interpretations of Great Reset in terms of what's going on now globally, nationally in the United States now currently, and also globally. And as I believe always, everything is interconnected, and nothing can be analyzed and understood. Nothing can be explained within a kind of as isolated events as if nothing is related to anything else globally. So, starting with this, let's delve into the subject matter without any further ado. The Great Reset was said, and let's kind of start talking about it. First off, what is Great Reset? I want to kind of give slight, just a kind of brief definition, brief, more casual definition of Great Reset. So the term is in general, I think, is general understood and interpreted as all kinds of social, economic, uh, cultural, structural changes. All the pillars of societies that hold the societies together will be changed or modified drastically and radically. And this is what a lot of people, I believe, or at least I agree with, is understanding from Great Reset. The concept of Agenda 2030 goes along with that. So with this, if there is a kind of agreement to begin with what I just said, so we can continue on building upon that. So the Great Reset is being engineered, is being spearheaded by a group of individuals who are extremely powerful and rich beyond anyone's almost comprehension. These group of individuals believe that the world should be reshaped in their view. You call it to make a better future, to make a better world, or to make a world that works for them better, not for everyone, but only for them. Or they believe they are so beyond rich and powerful, extremely rich and powerful, the true elites that can actually set the rules of the globe once and for all and forever into the future. That is their understanding. That's their position. Those people, those individuals, for the sake of discussion, and I'm going to refer to them as the globalist elite. The term, both globalist and elite, are key terms here to be able to talk about the Great Reset. And the agents of the Great Reset are on top. For instance, all those, folks gathering every year in Europe, in Davos, Switzerland, Davos, to talk about the general direction of the world in all terms, in all economic terms, social terms, kind of government terms, everything you can imagine that holds the societies together. They are the ones gathering and, in a way, directing all the world events that they believe will be serving their long-term goals to reshape the world. Hence the term Great Reset. So when you just think about the term reset, what do you understand from the term reset? When you buy something, let's say you buy a computer, you buy a laptop, that comes out of factory, that comes out of factory with certain settings, right? And once you buy, or after you buy it, you can adjust it, you can modify, you can personalize your settings any way you want for everything. For every function of the laptop, you can modify the settings. So, in a way, that is a reset, right? You're resetting it, or you're adjusting the settings of the laptop. So that's my little tiny little analogy to make, to basically this first and foremost help me to think better, to kind of explain things myself better. I'm seeing the societies in a similar fashion. The societies, of course, over thousands of years of history, are shaped and kind of continuously evolving and operating at certain settings. In this case, to make it more understandable, I will refer to the current society that we're living in, or current global society, let's call it, our big, large global village, as the one with the settings that came into being, especially particularly after the World War II. After 1945, the new settings have been created and applied, and we've been going according to those settings. The previous settings were applied after the World War I, and after that big war, the major empires of Europe collapsed, and Europe was the absolute power center of the world. At that time, about 120 years, 110, 120 years ago, all the major empires collapsed, and the new world order came into being. Following that, in the same century, in the same 20th century, Second World War, with America's involvement, and victoriously coming out of that, United States, the New World was established with the absolute American leadership of the free world. And today, those settings are being challenged, and challenged seriously. But everybody might explain these challenges in different fashions and different ways. And I will not go into details, because that's not the intent of this recording, as if what's happening as far as the power balances and where America is heading to, where the U.S. is heading to, the challengers coming out like China, India, Russia. I'm not delving into those. That's not the intent of this video. The absolute intent of this video is, no matter what is taking place, the globalist elite is a power to be reckoned with, and they are hell-bent on doing this, applying this great reset. In other words, they are hell-bent on modifying the current settings of the world that we're living in. The global settings, that they are hell-bent on changing those. Hence the name Great Reset. So in that, whatever we're seeing now in the world, globally, however much it looks regional, everything is connected to everything else. And nothing is happening and taking place in an isolated manner, haphazardly and randomly. Everything is being planned, engineered, devised, and also the display of the projects, project after project after project, like they're being displayed, and according to developments, fine-tuned, modified, but they are being, at the end of the day, they are being engineered. They are being built. There is always some engineer or engineers behind that, there are architects behind that, or whatever you call them. Again, the term, the powers of the globalist elite on top, delegating top down to continue on this effort. So nothing is happening in an isolated manner. Whether the war between Russia and Ukraine, whether what's happening between Israel and Hamas, What are the potential dangers in Taiwan that would bring, a big war, what they call big war between the United States and China, and also the illegal immigration mass, which is really and truly massive, historically massive terms, almost epic levels that the U.S. history, with all its history of immigration, never witnessed. That's also not happening haphazardly and has been planned, devised, engineered, and now being rolled into reality. It's being basically what we're seeing is now is an outcome of these plans. So then what is it? I wanna basically try to kind of share my thoughts with you. I would be happy to hear your thoughts as commentary, and that'd be nice to have some kind of discussion, maybe, if you will. Let's try to kind of solidify what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you talk about the concepts and ideologies and terms, if you cannot bring sometimes more concrete terms, it is very difficult to grapple with them, play with those concepts and apply those concepts and explain them. So I want to try to give more concrete examples to be able to communicate what I'm talking about, to be able to communicate my thoughts on this. This has, first off, the globalist elite. That is an elite force that is ruling the world, made out of the. Let's look at this country first, United States of America. In this country, the power centers are like big tech companies are now the spearheading of the power. The corporate America is in the hands of the big tech. The tech giants are running the show. And all the other, the major American economic power, the engines of it. If you notice, it's hard not to notice, I think, the political establishment in this country, which is now very well aligned, the Democratic Party, the Democratic establishment, with these tech giants and the power centers and all the other institutions. Those are also the other pillars of the nation, such as the intellectual institutions, such as the universities, the thought centers, the thought think tank organizations, the manufacturing organizations, all these entertainment industry, all these centers, which have enormous amount of power to lead people, to form people's opinions and minds, to form the public opinion, are well aligned with the democratic establishment, all serving one interest and one goal of the globalist elite, which is leading to Great Reset. Sometimes we're hearing terms such as examples. When they talk about BLM, they talk about Marxists. They use those terms. And when people label the sides, because now the society is being polarized as lefties and radical right, when people from the so-called radical right talk about the other side, they use the terms Marxist and communist. Whereas on the other side, the democratic establishment use the labels and choose those labels carefully to be able to control the minds of the individuals, of the citizens, because never forget that the concepts, the terminologies, the words that are used constantly eventually start shaping people's individuals' thought processes. One would ask this: there's a lot of confusion with concepts. Why are they talking about Marxism. The Marxist lefties they refer to, and there is a reason for that. The question would be like this: the ultra mega rich. In fact, they're so powerful and rich. The term rich itself cannot even explain how rich and powerful they are. The term itself is not sufficient to explain that. I'm talking about those big power centers who control hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, actually trillions of dollars movement in the world. And I will touch base monetary amount of some when it comes to need to talk about, to give examples, to kind of create a better picture to describe it. Why would anyone would ask this? Why would these people, this kind of a powerful elite, talk about even consider to bring to discussion, let alone pushing Marxist ideologies? That's the term used. The term Marxist has practical implications and reasons. That's why. For instance, looking at the Chinese model, they do look at the Chinese model. The Chinese society today is extremely structured around the dictatorialship kind of ways. Everything, almost in every single breath a Chinese citizen takes, is being followed. They're under 24/7, 365, incredible amount of surveillance. There is absolutely nothing, no freedoms of anything. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. They cannot criticize the government. They cannot criticize any institution of government or any kind of policies the government implements. They are under extreme scrutiny. And the Chinese government is doing this very successfully. The way that Chinese government can do this is because of there are many factors, of course, but the communist structure is allowing them, facilitating that greatly. The absolute and complete control over their citizens, which I call them subjects of the Chinese dictatorship. If they can implement similar type of social structure in this country and in the entire Western world, they will be on their way to realize their long-term goals, which is nothing but complete and absolutely deep control. I repeat, complete, worldwide, and deep down control. That is an absolute goal of the globalist elite in order to realize, to build eventually a new world order, NWO, which will have no room for anyone, any citizen, and I'm going to use the term, I call them subjects. Let's call a citizen now, that will be better communicated if I use it, I guess. No one will have any chance of any kind of opposition to anything. No one will have any kind of right to choose. And people will be under surveillance 24/7, 365 for their entire lifetime. This is the utmost goal of the globalist elite. In this structure, people will be without any kind of property. The property rights will be eliminated. Just to make an example, no one will have, because no one will need a house. No one will need a car. No one will need a bank account. No one will need money saved to his name or accumulating to his name. No one will need guns for self-protection because government will protect them. Government will provide everything, and everything will be free, so-called. The term free, which is actually stemming from the government sources, from education to healthcare to housing, everything will be provided. Now, let's stop here. I know a lot of people might say, isn't that good? Free education, I'm saying, free housing, free healthcare. But you just accept what you're given. Once you are given everything by some source, whether it's a government or whatever you call it. And in fact, let's use the term even government in very loose terms because it's not going to be, it's going to be in the service of the globalist elite and completely and entirely controlled by them. Then individuals will not be individual. Human beings will not be free humans. There won't be freedom. The man will not be the free man. A man who cannot make decisions for himself is not a free man, because all the decisions will be made for him. He is not going to have bank account because he is not going to need money. Whatever the essentials that man is going to need to make his living, I don't want to even use the term, call it make his living, to continue his miserable existence, all those essentials, from housing to food to medical care to education, will be provided. There is no need for this man to own a car because transportation is defined in a structure by the city planning, and the city planning will be such that there won't be any need for driving cars. Whatever transportation needs, that will be decided, the modality of the transportation, by the government, by those rulers, and it will be provided, and the citizens will be subjected to use it. There will not be any other options. In this kind of environment, there is nothing else to worry about, it looks like, for man to continue his existence. This is the utmost final goal that globalist elite has now. And those the representative of those people that I call them globalist elitists who are gathering in Davos are talking about some kind of a world structure, the social and economic structure, to form and build the world around these, principles. Number one principle is, again, tiny little elite group will control all the resources. In the meantime, all the people that they will be controlling will be doing what they are told, according to their, obviously, talents, will be trained and will be working to make these people more and more powerful and richer and richer. All the resources will be owned by them and controlled by them. And it will be fed to people as if it's not some people are there controlling everything for themselves. It is because they're doing this for the people to ensure that there is better management of the society. In fact, there is more fair ways of distribution of things which is the major function of economics discipline. The scarcity of resources and the distribution of the scarce resources for the society's existence is the number one tenet and problem of the general economics discipline. And that is what they're going to teach people. We are in a position to tell you how to live. We are in a position to control everything you can imagine on this earth. Every mineral, every resource, natural resources, under the ground or over the ground, from you name it, any chemicals, oil resources, natural resources, anything, agriculture, will be controlled by them, because they are the ones in better shape and better position and better status to decide what is best for the people, for billions and billions of people, and without going through maybe probably in their utopia, the utopia they'll be feeding to people is the peace will be eventually taking place. There won't be needing any wars, because people don't have to fight wars, because they will be living their lives as they are told. Globalist elite does not have any national or ethnic or any other type of sensitivities or allegiances. They don't care about. There is no concept of them for this or that nation. Thus, the term, they are not nationalist. They're globalist. That is an important distinction here between the term globalist versus nationalist. The reason why today we're seeing there is a full-blown attack on morality, which is done and engineered just like anything else, and I was saying nothing is happening haphazardly. The LGBTQ community, and you're seeing more and more in current movies, more and more homosexual relationships and gays in the movies, and this is being fed to people as the righteous thing, a better thing, in the name of tolerance and, like so-called equality. Same thing, the critical race theory, CRT. Same thing that in even the grade school levels, asking the children, the little children, like how you feel today yourself. They're asking this to a little boy. Are you feeling today like a boy or girl? Would you like to be treated as a girl, or do you feel like a girl? And if you want to be a girl, actually you can have a gender change if you want to, if you have a consent. All these things, none of these things are happening haphazardly. These are all created from this source, the complete control. They believe their enemies are one, nationalism and nationalistic feelings, one, feeling the complete and total loyalty and allegiance to his or her nation is something that they want to destroy. And also the other enemy they have is family structure and morality. They have to destroy the family structure, the moral structure of the society. And family, as we all learned, is the holding the most basic. It's like a building. If the society is like a building, family is one of those stones of that building. The foundation of the society is family. If you destroy the family, and to do this you must destroy the morality, you can destroy the moral fabric of the society. That is what they're after with their constant and non-stop push of homosexuality, gayness, bringing the gays and more into movies. That is what's behind that. Also, another example of the such as the climate change. Very briefly, I want to touch base the Paris Accord that President Biden, immediately after he assumed power, January 2021, one of the earliest executive decisions that he took was signing the Paris Accord. Trump had been extremely vehemently against that because the fact that it was going to bring $10 trillion of total cost to already extremely big national debt, which is now standing at $34 trillion. That was going to bring $1 trillion cost every year for the next 10 years. To be able to comply with the terms of the Paris Accord for the climate change. There are I'm not going to go into that. I'm just, touch base in the topics. Because if I delve into that, if I delve into the numbers and research and statistics and how incredibly wrong, how incredibly big lie that climate change is, it takes hours and hours of talk, and I'm going to skip all that. I just continue by just adding that. By bringing that climate change and those ridiculous things, ridiculous talk that we're witnessing, and we cannot even believe people bringing these things into conversations and talk about it. It's like a joke, such as, what was it? The cows had to be killed because they're farting and making bringing the gases and releasing the gases into the atmosphere and causing the climate change. Global warming. They changed the name global warming. Do you notice that? They stopped using the word global warming because it became a laughing stock and it became extremely controversial. Now they came up with the new terms, the climate change, instead of saying global warming. That's another game. You remember I told you the words they choose, the words they pump into the society are done on a purpose, because every single word that people use are helping to shape their way of thinking, their thought processes. I heard people in some conversations in those circles. I was watching the climate change. There was this woman stand up. She was standing up, and she took a word. She raised her hand, and then she was saying, "We gotta kill the newborn babies because they are actually contributing to climate change to save the Earth's climate." Somebody said to her, "Why don't you kill yourself to contribute to climate?" So these are the levels of insanity that we're witnessing from, I'm going to have to say, left. This is the woke left. I repeat, this is the woke left at this incredibly insane levels, playing into the hands of the globalist elite, because this is exactly what they are planning and how they're pushing these arguments, and hence shaping the left side with their along their interests. I'm going to use the terms here sometimes interchangeably in this discussion, in this recording. When I describe the insane left, the Marxists, the globalist elite, Democrats, who are basically their delegates, their strings are completely owned and pulled by the globalist. They're just their agents in the Senate and House of the White House of the United States political system. And sometimes I use the term ultra-liberals or militant liberals, BLM, LGBTQ community All these are part of this system. They are all tools and minions of the globalist elite to achieve their goals, and on every single day they are serving their goals. So the eventual goal, again, as they're behind the secret meetings, in meetings such as Davos, which is a lot more publicized, but also, is it really completely publicized? Is another question, but let's call it Davos meetings. The institutions serving the globalist elite, and this is what their goals are. There is a force basically acting as a counterweight to the globalist developments. We're witnessing more and more in the United States, in Europe. We're witnessing more and more. That is what I like to call people with reason, people with value systems, values, people with family values, people with faith, people with nationalistic feelings. And all these developments that when I look at them, when I watch them, is making me think that what globalists, in my very personal opinion, I'm going to have to use this term, is nothing but the evil reincarnate. And one of the best depiction of that evil reincarnate, that if you ask me to represent that, or kind of give an example of a human being right now, living human being, I can give you one. That is George Soros, with his completely like a huge octopus, which the tentacles of that octopus are reaching all over the globe. And every day he is serving the interests of the globalist elite to facilitate some other evil plan that is serving the long-term goals of the globalist elite for the complete and total control. For instance, I want to give you one example. Why do you think the Democratic establishment is so hard fighting against the United States Constitution's Second Amendment for the Americans to exercise their God-given and Constitution-guaranteed rights to bear arms? Why do you think they're so diligently working to eliminate that right? They are working for one and only one goal: to completely eliminate the United States Constitution, Second Amendment. They don't want a single person with a single gun in this nation. That's the answer is, let's go back to what I was saying at the beginning. They want to take care of everything. They want to provide everything to the person, so the person can be their toy, their thing, their peon, their mini. That person is not going to need any gun. There is no need for self-protection. In fact, there is no such concept as self-sufficiency in this picture. Simple things, as simple as it will be illegal. One example, I hope that can explain it better. If somebody is out in the country putting buckets, under a building, let's say there is a shed or some kind of a barn, and then the person is putting buckets because it's raining and he's trying to collect water to use, that will be illegal. If somebody is digging a well to provide water for his family, it's gonna be illegal. By the same token, that somebody cannot have a gun because there is no need for protection because government will protect him or his family and his family. Same thing with everything. You can expand on that one. Men, at the end of the day, will not and should not need money, even not even a dollar, to be able to provide any kind of services, to be able to buy any kind of services, whether it's an education or healthcare or safety. Men should not be in a position to purchase a gun, to pay for education, to pay for healthcare. In fact, men should be cashless. The society will be cashless, completely and utterly. Now let's look at this. One of the goals is eliminate completely the cash out of the economic mechanism. The economic system will not have cash. People are not going to have cash. Every individual will be a number, and each person's livelihood, you call it today dollar just for the sake of simplicity and sake of this discussion, I'm going to call it dollars. It could be who knows what's going to be. Let's call it dollars. Will have enough dollars in his or her account, but that account will not be held and controlled by this person. It will be belonging to the government, and the government will decide to put how much money that person needs depending on his or her contributions to this society. There will be, I believe, some kind of a working structure which will be different levels of salaries. But those salaries will be controlled and money sources will be controlled accordingly. The person is not going to own anything, not stocks or bonds, no investments, no property, no any kind of property to build a house on, no house ownership, no cash, no money, no papers, no stocks, nothing. Completely and utterly propertyless society. And on top of that, with this constant and absolute attack on the morality and family structure, and the utter goal of creating this synthetic man, synthetic human being, that human being will almost be genderless, sexless almost. Folks, do you see where I'm going to? Anything that is offered to people as utopia, anything that sounds good, absolutely without any kind of chance, no exception, will result in absolute dystopia. All utopias end up with dystopia, which is nothing but the utter chaos no one can handle, no one can bear to live in. The level of chaos. And they know that, and they are well aware of that, and they will, in fact, they are working on bringing this chaos first to break the man's soul. Once the soul of the man is broken, then they will come with their offer. Actually, they will enforce it. I'm using the term offer, but it's kind of funny. They will enforce what they have, which will be the new world order. To live under that is nothing but a tiny little cog living without any kind of individual opinion or any kind of freedom of anything, only and only existing like a chicken in a chicken farm, nothing else, nothing better. People are aware of that. Every day they're waking up to it, and they started seeing what is coming. The most absolute stupid people are the ones that I call, and one term I use for that is wokes. The wokeism, in my opinion, is an extremely serious mental condition that is pushing almost little boys to be like girls, or little girls to be like boys. They're trying to eliminate the significance of the gender. They already want to completely destroy the sanctity of the marriage, which was considered a holy sanctity. It has a purpose, and the marriage has a purpose and serves a purpose, and the purpose is a contract between one man and one woman to form this union, to bring this world and their offspring, and to raise this offspring for the continuation of the healthy society. They destroy the sanctity of the marital marriage institution by allowing man-to-man marriage or woman-to-woman marriage. Their attacks are not staying there, it's continuing. Their attacks is trying to eliminate the concept of gender between boys and girls. They're not stopping there. They're coming with pronouns, that ridiculous thing, the extremely ridiculous thing. What is your pronouns? I was updating my LinkedIn LinkedIn profile, and system was asking me, what are your pronouns? If somebody asks me what is your pronouns, I'm going to say, God damn it, I don't have any freaking pronouns. I'm a man. I'm him and his. I believe marriage should be, and designed and meant to be between one man and one woman. And there are only two genders on this earth, male and female. Those who think there is a third one or fourth one or fifth one are in serious mental condition. They need to, seeking for professional help. These are the people that I call woke, and I consider them extremely mentally disturbed. They should be helped. They need to be treated. They are in a hopeless situation. And those individuals, by acting up on their woke ideologies on a daily basis, serving the interests of the globalist elites' horrible, horrible goals for the future. The dystopian society is what they're shooting for. They do not even see themselves as almost like, from this planet. It's almost like, they don't have a red blood in their veins. They see themselves incredibly separated. They are at a different dimension or universe. And yet, because of the way they see it, perceive themselves, they are now in a position that they believe they can impose whatever they think is right or to their benefits. That needs to be imposed on people, on billions upon billions of people on this earth. This is what's happening. And this is what Great Reset is standing for. You can bring a lot of examples. You can find those examples if you carefully look at and analyze, and if you have a mind, a type of mind that is not, polluted, that is not polluted by their propaganda. If you can stay out of their propaganda and have some clear ways of thinking, and then look at it carefully and try to understand what's going on, you can see all that. Many people, I'm glad to see, are seeing this. Truckers of America, when they're basically resistance against the decision made by the New York City Attorney General against Trump, and they're going to strike, they're boycotting, they are the ones with smarts. They are seeing what's happening and they're standing against that. All these farmers in Europe, in Germany, in France going to strike, major strikes. They're blocking the major autobahns and streets and everything in major centers of Europe like Paris, Berlin, and large cities. They're the ones with brains because they can see what's going on. They know what's happening and they're resisting. In the state of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, when he is defending his state against illegal immigration, because he is doing this because he has every right to defend his state, and he's also seeing the global ugly game. He is clearly seeing that Joe Biden is sitting in the same bed with that globalist evil. I repeat, he's in the game, in the same bed with the globalist evil. More and more people are waking up. They hate to see this. They hate to see Americans owning guns. They just can't sleep with this thought because, they know that they will be resisting. And every day, every passing day, they will be scaring even more. My personal opinion, with this awakening, which will be taking place at higher levels going forward, they will be more and more and more scared every day. And they will be trying to do more and more horrible things globally. Every day we're going to be witnessing things that's going to make us say or feel like, I cannot believe that I'm seeing this. I cannot believe that I'm seeing this. Just like that the woman I mentioned, she stood up and she said, we got to kill the babies because they are contributing to climate change. I would never believe anyone would say that. Never. But I heard that. We're going to hear things going forward a lot more. There's nothing evil cannot do. There's not a horrible thing a healthy mind cannot even imagine that evil wouldn't do. And the globalist elite is evil reincarnate. Unfortunately, democratic establishment is in the same bed with this evil. When Trump was saying to American people, I'm standing here between them and you, that's what his message was. He was saying, between that evil and American people. I'm hoping that comes November 2024, more and more and more people will be awakened. With their votes, they will rule them out. That's not going to be the final victory, but it's going to be an important step. Important battle, very important battle. The final step, the final victory, who knows how and when, if any, but I wouldn't lose hope. I have a faith in people. I have a faith in freedom. That people should be free. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of assembly, right to defend your life, right to own property, right to earn living. This country is built based on those principles, not on Marxist and communist principles, but built on capitalistic principles. Work hard, take risk, earn money, sky's the limit if you can. Those talking about so-called equal distribution are the ones aligned with these individuals. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening to me.